your Scion, which means your sales are dipping quick. And even worse, you're not some one-off car company like DMC, right? You are publicly owned by one of the, if not the largest auto manufacturers ever, Toyota. And your sales falling so much is an indication, Toyota, that they need to get rid of you very, very soon. But you need to save yourself somehow, right? You have thousands of employees. Most of them will get transferred over to Toyota, but you still want the brand to stay around, right? You believe that the brand is still successful. And currently your lineup isn't doing that for you. You have the FRS, right? The IQ, the TC, the XB, the FRS, simply the BZ4X, nope, not the BZ4X, the Subaru BRZ and Toyota JR86 are better. The IQ, it's way too small, and the smart car is already more cute, more adaptable, and more well-known than the IQ. It also wasn't sold at every single dealership, which was annoying. The TC, essentially a sporty Camry, except the only thing sporty about it is the styling. I actually like the TC quite a bit. And the XB, a crossover that didn't get the sales of a crossover because it was hideous, thanks to Toyota ruining it in 2014. This is the lineup. No wonder why they weren't getting any sales. You need something legendary. You want to bring back cheap transportation. Scion has always been about trying to get younger buyers in, right? Trying to make the cheapest, bottom-of-the-barrel cars that are fun, right? Like I said, every single car company has to apologize for being cheap. Honda says, oh, no, we're sporty. Mazda says, oh, no, we're luxurious. They all have to say something when you have a cheap car, right? Like, oh, we make cheap cars, but they're sporty, right? They always have to have a catch. And Toyota doesn't have that catch. Toyota is just budget cars for the sake of being budget cars. But that's not how Scion is, right? Scion likes sportier vehicles, right? Except this sportier vehicle, appealing to young buyers thing isn't working. In fact, most of the people that are buying Scions are just people that can't afford Toyotas. And believe it or not, that's a very small portion considering they can just buy, a used Toyota for the exact same price, if not a new Toyota, of these other vehicles. Also, another thing, this sporty thing isn't working out too well, as most of the cars on your lineup aren't even that sporty anyways. It's not working out, and what you need to do is revive cheap transportation. You need to revive cheap transportation. Your CEO, everyone in charge of Scion, knows that they need to revive cheap transportation somehow. The IQ, they tried with that, it didn't work. The XB, they tried with that, it didn't work. People didn't want it, especially after they updated it and ruined it. So they needed to get a company on the horn that would know how to make a great, amazing small car and has had a long history of making great, fuel-efficient small cars to help them design their latest vehicle, as Toyota just doesn't have the funding to bippity-boppity-boo a new car into existence. So who do you call on the line? 323 maker Mazda, a car that has been making small, amazing, great cars since forever. Mazda has always been amazing and fantastic at small, great, little, fuel-efficient cars. So Toyota thought that Mazda was the perfect one to get on the horn and work on this new car with them, right? Now, why specifically Mazda? Well, Mazda had the Mazda 2. The Mazda 2 is essentially the 323, all those other smaller 90s cars, 90s/80s cars, condensed into one small, little, tiny piece of Mazda engineering. Over-engineered, lasts a very long time, bad transmission, right? Usually Mazda things. And so Toyota noticed that this went off of sale. And when this went off of sale in Europe, this new Mazda 2 went on sale. And Toyota knew that the Mazda 2 was a real great one. Why? Well, because Toyota's been around long enough to know that cheap transportation will never go out of style, and they know that, out of all people, Mazda is the right person to do that. Just think of their heritage of small little cars. And them taking their small little car out of the US because it wasn't selling that well, Toyota thought that they could market it better. Toyota thought that they could market it to young people. They thought that they could make it affordable. They thought that they could make it something that people wanted. So they walked up to Mazda and they said, "Let us have the car." And guess what? Mazda said, "Why not? I really don't see why not. We're already making them in the US. Why not?" And we got the Scion IA, the best car we have had in a while. Now, if you are a car enthusiast, you will turn your nose up at this. You will, in fact, turn your nose up so high that you will break your neck and your head will roll off on the floor. But I say no. I say there is more to a car than horsepower and 0 to 60 numbers. Why? Why is this car so important? Why is this small, little Mazda and Toyota rebadged car so important? Why does this even matter? Why am I taking the time, the entire 20 minutes it takes to film, edit, and post this video to talk about this small little runt of a car? Because this car has some fantastic history. Think of all the 90s, 80s, and even late thousands cars that we had that were just amazing. I'm not talking about cars that had fast 0 to 60 numbers, right? I'm not talking about cars that were the top of the line, fanciest cars. I'm talking about your down and dirty, everyday commuter cars that are fun to drive, right? It may not be 0 to 60 in 4.2 million, milliseconds, right? But it gets you there, and it's light, and it's fun to drive, and it's fuel efficient, and that's all you need. Think the Mitsubishi Mirage before Mitsubishi ruined it, but also saved it. Think about the Toyota Tercel, right? Something that you can slam grocery carts into, and something that I said is light and fun to drive. Think of the 2002 Honda Civic two-door. Fun, easy to drive, laid back, great on gas, right? Think of the Suzuki Swift if you want an 80s example. Perfect, nice, great, modern styling, yet still fuel efficient and fun to drive. And this is all of those things glommered up into one car, and this was the last of those cars. So why exactly is this the heritage of all those small little great Japanese cars that we have just taken a look at? First of all, it's not only made by one Japanese car company, it's made by two, which is Toyota and Mazda. So that's double brownie points right there. Another reason why this car is so great is, like I said, it's made by Mazda. They made the 323. They made the Miata. They made plenty of perfect small little cars over the years, so they are the perfect maker to make one of these. It was also sold by Toyota, one of the only car companies that could actually market a great car like this. Think about it. This car isn't trying to impress you. This car isn't trying to be fancy. This car is just trying to get off the lot and last forever. This is one of, in my opinion, the last true great Toyotas. Except it's not a Toyota last true great Mazda. Even though Mazda is still pretty great. So reliable. Insanely reliable. Great reliable. We're seeing these have outstanding MPG and, mile numbers as they're getting older and being more used. We can see in the interior, you have leather on the dashboard, which is very nice. Remember, you're paying like $15,000 for a new car. You have a screen, a real nice, decent screen that works. Now, sure, it sticks up on the dash, but the dash is so little, I'm sure they couldn't even find space to put it in the first place. The car doesn't make you feel too small. Even though it does not have a glove box, you still have cup holders, and you have your steering wheel right there. Of course, you have your little system down there for controlling radio, everything like that, your shifter, all your climate controls, and then your steering wheel. And you may notice the way that this car feels. You sit very down and back, un-SUV-like, and more sports car-ish, because this car is fun to drive. Like I said, a lot of, especially quote-unquote car guys or car journalists rag on cars so much, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I started this channel to shed light on some of the awesome everyday daily cars, and I don't mean the daily driver cars where, people on Donut Media talk about the show, the infamous Ford show that, Jim Fallon or whatever drove in the 1970s, like the crazy show. No, I mean your average everyday Toyota Corolla that drives you to work and has 430,000 miles on the clock. I think that's worth more than any top-of-the-line fancy vehicle because it's doing its job better and longer than those cars can. And this is the embodiment of this channel. Cute, small, fun. In the 2010s era. Perfect. It's great. But then something happened. Toyota said, Scion, you really suck. And not even this amazing plan and car can save you. You're down the toilet. And they got flushed. So exactly what happened to the Scion IA? Well, Toyota, this was a rather low-effort vehicle. This was also a rebadge. And they also had to, take it from Europe. So that was also costing them a lot of money just to use a Mazda design and then rebadging it. Those badges cost money, And so Toyota, they might cancel it. But then they found out that actually the people at Scion were right. Cheap transportation never really does die, so we need to revive it. And they thought of the perfect name for it. The Yaris. Our cute little knight in shining armor. Beautiful hatchback, beautiful sedan. One of the best cars Toyota has ever made. And the Yaris IA, usually I'd be mad if someone did this. The Yaris was so amazing. If they rebadged it as some Mazda, I'd be like, great, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you for ruining the Yaris, right? Like Acura did with the awesome ZDX. They made it an EV. Ugh. Right? Usually I'd be mad about it, but no, this is the embodiment of the Yaris. This is a Yaris. 100%. 4 lug nuts. Perfect. Smooth. Aerodynamic. Beautiful. Perfect. And this is what we got. And it stayed onto the lineup until 2020. If you just need a cheap car, you just need to get to work, this is great. It has all the modern features you would expect you need from a car like this. I mean, look at it. The dashboard is perfect. You have a little driver information display. The steering wheel is very Mazda reminiscent, but that's not a bad thing. The entire interior is beautifully designed and very, very modern to drive and use and to sit in, right? All the ergonomics are perfect because it's a Mazda. They've always been great at ergonomics, and it's one of the best cars you've ever sat in. This is truly, I think, the best car I have looked at in a while. It is so amazing. And what's even better, you can get it in the hatchback version. Granted, you won't be getting as much storage space, but it's still amazing. This is the modern day car that you can ram shopping carts into, right? These are perfect. If you can find one of these and you just need to go to work, buy one of them. They're great. They last forever. This is a 1996 Toyota Corolla, or at least the modern day equivalent. Now, I understand that this car isn't as bare bones as I'm making it sound, right? It has speakers and automatic windows and a key fob, all those things that, we hate. But still, I still think modern day car culture, this is the closest you can get. And I just say buy it. Send Toyota a message. We want cheap, reliable transportation. Look at it. Excellent storage in the back. You can carry like a 10-gallon fish tank in that. Great interior room. Silver. Everything is really, really nice. Again, you have a screen that works great and functions. It does what it needs to do. It functions. It gets you to work. And then guess what? It drives you home. It doesn't ask you to pay $9.99 per month to open your car door like some sort of Volvo or BMW, right? It doesn't expect you to drive it a certain way like a Prius or some other fuel-efficient car to get the most out of it. It just says, okay, get in the seat, drive me forward, and then I will get you to work, and then you can drive me back again, and then everything will be fine. And it has SRS airbags. It's perfectly modern, perfectly reliable. I love the Scion IA. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon. I love that video.